Clearly, when I think about British Columbia and I think about the fact that 1 in 2 youth are thinking about leaving British Columbia, that to me is a failure of leadership. It's weak leadership in British Columbia. People should be able to hope and build a dream here. Today in British Columbia, there is close to half the people that have passed because of an overdose in Canada, right here in British Columbia. It is failures of government policy. We need to make sure that we can build hope for people. We need to make sure that we can unleash our resources and our economy so that people can build that hope and build that future.
It really is astonishing to hear John Rustad always talk about how many young people want to leave BC, but never talk about investing in young people, never talking about investing in education, never talk about investing in making sure there's enough psychologists and counselors in our schools, never talk about ensuring that university and post-secondary are affordable for people, and never talk about how we're really going to make sure that housing is affordable in this province, which is to get non-market housing in, to put vacancy control in place, and to stop real estate investment trusts from driving up housing prices and rents in this province. He never talks about solutions. He talks about all the problems, and he consistently focuses on what's negative. I feel like I live in a different place from John Rustad. His vision of BC is one that is dark and gloomy. We need a vision of hope. If we want young people to stay here, we have to give them a reason to stay.
Shachi, we need hope and a plan. And that's what we're delivering for young people. Now, John Rustad's, he talked about his Rustad rebate. I call it the Rustad long wait. Because you don't actually get to benefit from it fully until 2029. People need support right now. It also excludes young people. If you're working and you're living with parents, if you're in a multi-generational home, you don't benefit at all from his plan. Who benefits the most? If you own a penthouse in downtown Vancouver, you benefit the most from his tax cut. But if you're sharing a home, you don't.
Dave says
that doesn't make any sense.
No interest in
young people need support. And, you know, John Rustad's housing plan. The Globe and Mail says it's not going to build a single unit of housing. He himself says it's not the Premier's job to ensure affordable housing. Well, that's exactly what got us into this mess.
If we were in government,
you didn't think it was your job.
If we were concerned about that wealth, we would be taxing that wealth. There's no plan in the NDP platform. There's no Conservative platform so far. But if we were concerned about that enormous accumulation of wealth, if we were concerned about the growing inequality and the growing poverty, we would be looking at ways to actually tax some of that wealth. We have that in our platform. Silence from the NDP.
So look,
silence from the Conservatives.
What the NDP have just said and what David Eby just said. David Eby actually said the private sector has no place in housing, and that's just wrong.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did, Mr. Eby. The reality as well is this. We are going to cut the carbon tax by getting rid of the carbon taxes in British Columbia. That will save $1,200 for a family today. And yet David Eby, he wants to actually double the carbon tax in his next term. That is what he has said he will do. And so this is the reality we're facing in British Columbia. That is more money just in the carbon tax saving alone than what he is proposing with his taxes. And for him to come out and say that $900 right away for the Rustad rebate in terms of the rent and in terms of mortgages, those are people, hardworking people in British Columbia that will get that benefit right away. And I wish we could bring the whole thing in, except that the fiscal mismanagement and a $14 billion deficit being proposed by David Eby will take away the future of people.
Mr. Eby, you seem to want to respond.
Well, I don't even know where to start here, Shachi. John Rustad can't get rid of the carbon tax because of the federal backstop. He also is not telling you the full story about his Rustad long wait, that you don't actually see a benefit until at the earliest 2026, and then only if you own your home or if you have high rental costs. If you're living in a rural part of British Columbia and you have low rent, you see the least amount of benefit. And that's why there's a guy with an $80 million house in my constituency that loves John Rustad. But I'm on your side.
That's why
you and your families at home, to make sure you get access to immediate benefit from the tax cut.
Look, we have
not
the largest,
2 years from now, not 5 years from now,
We have the
right
largest, probably most violent hurricane lining up off the coast of Florida, and we have 2 leaders retreating from climate action in this province.